All right. Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Model Monday Live, where we challenge you to take a 2D drawing and turn it into a 3D model as quickly as possible using any 3D CAD system out there. Maybe you like Fusion 360, maybe you love Onshape, maybe you're a SolidWorks user, maybe you're a CATIA user. Whatever 3D CAD system you're using, all CAD are welcome here on Model Monday Live. And we can see that we've got some of our regulars in the chat today hanging out with us. Very excited to see everyone here. Let's bring up our large chat overlay here and see how everyone is doing. So we have got in the chat some chat superstars today. Mr. Alex, the very first one in the chat, saying hello, everyone. Ricardo Jean is here. Pico Boo is here. Sky High 1223 is here. And hello, one and all. Victor K is here. Hello, Victor K. Hello, Toby and chat. Ricardo Jean says, I have a lot to learn from you, Alex. Alex, of course, recognizing that Ricardo J is at the top of the 3D CAD Spring Open Speed Modeling Championship leaderboard, which is going to kick off this Friday. We're going to have our next tournament this Friday. And Ricardo Jean is at the top of that leaderboard. Mr. Alex recognizing him. T3D Fusion. T3, I like that name. T3D Fusion. First time seeing this, doing public compete or just watching others doing the modeling. So we're going to challenge you, T3D, to take a 2D drawing and turn it into a 3D model as quickly as you can. So this is definitely audience participation type of live stream, and you are welcome to try it, I assume using Fusion based on your screen name, and compete. Join us for the competition. Join us for the fun. We'd love to see you in here and see how well you do, and we'll explain how it works in just a few minutes. Matav is here. Welcome, my friend. And Jim Yu is here. Hello, Toby and everyone. Hello. Woot woot, says Pico Boo. Rockcrawler is here. What's up, my man? Rambro's Workshop, the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, is here joining us in the chat. If you guys ever want to see the history of the World Championship of 3D CAD speed modeling, you can head over to TooTallToby.com. You can go up to the top here, tournaments, go to the tournaments page. You can scroll down for your tournament history. And we can see here that in 2024, going up against some pretty stiff competition, it was Rambro's Workshop and Chris Bico in the finals, an epic final showdown. And Rambros, who took it down, became the world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling and our first ever Fusion 360 world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling. Lots of good history there. Check it out, TooTallToby.com/tournaments. Check out the tournament page. There's some really good stuff on there. Love going through and looking at that history. And of course, Nadesh is here. Hello, people. Hello. You can use Atom. Yep, you can use Atom CAD. You can use whatever you want. You want to start doing some AI, some automated CAD, you go for it. All CAD are welcome here. FPV Kev is here. Hello, my friend. Love seeing that badge there next to your name. Join the channel if you guys want to get that badge. Sebastian is here. Hello. Mesa Makes. Guys, check out Mesa Makes YouTube channel. He's been posting some really good kind of beginners, tips and tricks and tutorials. I made a comment on your YouTube channel, Corey, but I got to give you a shout out as well. I really like that you just made that simple 3D printable fixture. There's been so many times where I've been so thankful that I know how to do 3D CAD because then I can 3D print a quick fixture, a jig, you know, whatever it is to square up two components to help me with assembly. I've done it with spacing on cabinetry so that all my cabinets are equally spaced. I've done it for hanging up things like the I know they're not really hanging true right now, but the certificates that I have behind me, you know, 3D print up a quick bracket, a quick fixture, a quick jig, and you can really save yourself a lot of time. And I love that you're posting content like that. So keep going, bro. You're on the right track, and I'm sure your students really appreciate it. The Elite CAD users, yeah, for sure. Rambros is on a rampage, yeah. Let's see if he wins again. We haven't had a repeat world champion to date, but Rambros could be the first for sure. And let's see here. Onshape isn't loading. Just going to watch today. I hope it loads for me. I am planning on doing a live demo. Let me refresh it and make sure that it's... Well, I'm getting full connectivity here, so I think maybe just refresh it, Nadesh, and then you should be able to use it. They will do it. It's their homework. I love the extra help. Yeah, good. Good. That's good to know. All right, guys, let's get into it here in today's episode of Model Monday Live. Today is Monday, April 28th, and what a great way to start the week, hanging out with all these CAD enthusiasts. But this week is a special week because we're not only going to start the week well, we're going to end the week well. We're really bookending the week with TooTallToby content this week. This Friday is going to be the first match in our 2025 Spring Open CAD vs. CAD Speed Modeling Tournament. So we're going to have Friday, May 2nd, Friday, May 9th. That's going to be for our round of 8. So matches 1 and 2, matches 3 and 4. And then Friday, May 16th, we're going to have our final 4. Actually, we're just going to have the first matches there. So our final 4 matches, 1 and 2. So that's kind of like our semifinals. And then on May 23rd, we will have our finals, the official finals. We'll do prizes, giveaways, and we will crown a new champion of the Spring Open. Last year, the Spring Open was won by an Onshape user, a good friend of the show, Airwick. So Airwick went through, chopped up the competition. We had actually 2 Onshape users and 2 SolidWorks users in the semifinals. And then we had 2 Onshape users in the finals, Imants and Airwick. And it was Airwick who ended up taking it down in the Spring Open 2024. So once again, the Spring Open 2025 begins this week on Friday. Yes, Friday, this Friday. Ricardo says, I'm not ready yet. I'm sure that is not true, Ricardo. You always do amazing in these tournaments. So today we're going to have 2 CAD speed modeling challenges for the chat. I'm going to do a live solve using Onshape, and we are going to hang out with the best chat ever. And I want to, of course, say thank you to all the people who helped build the TooTallToby community, the subscribers, the super thankers, the joiners, the likers, the tutorial makers, the super chatters, anybody who signed up for value, all the premium, Practice Models premium subscribers, all the students, everybody who shares, everybody who comments, and, of course, the Discord crew. And if you're out there and you want to see the channel continue to thrive and survive, you can use any one of these methods to help us. Super Thanks is open. Super Chat is open during this live stream. Of course, you could sign up for Practice Models Premium. You could join the YouTube channel. We try to give you a lot of options. So you can see that this guy who's sitting here is ready to go. He's got his credit card out. He's got his World Championship poster up on the wall. And he's ready to make a contribution to the channel. If you want to be like him, you can do so using any one of these methods or many, many more, and we very much appreciate it. And of course, one way that you can contribute is you can make your own tutorials, make videos that kind of reference back to the channel, host a user group and reference back to the channel. And we can see here that we have got Crispy Co, our featured tutorial maker this week, who made a really nice tutorial explaining why speed modeling makes you a better designer. You can check it out over on his YouTube channel called Fully Defined. Let's see here. Are you going to have another get-together for the finals? So probably not for the Spring Open, but we are going to try and do one for the World Championship later this year. So we are going to try and have a live get-together later this year. It's so much fun when everybody's together, making posters for the finalists and things like that. So we're going to try and do something special once again this year for the finals. The Spring Open is a little bit more casual than the finals. Today, we're going to do a live solve using Onshape. I'm going to try and solve one of the models right along with you when we get to the later half of the show. And don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to share and reshare what's going on this channel. Remember, we tell you every week that your goal, your challenge for the week is to tell one coworker about the channel. And speaking of coworkers, Dom in the chat saying, starting a new job today, so I won't make it for this MML. Well, thank you for continuing to be a member. 7 months in. Wow, Dom, thank you. Congratulations at the level of Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. Very much appreciated, Dom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And congratulations on the new job. Don't forget to tell all your coworkers about Model Monday Live and about the TooTallToby channel. No, congrats, Dom. That's awesome. I really enjoy seeing some of the stuff Dom makes. He does a lot of like structural fabrication. It's always cool to see the stuff that he's making. And guys, if you want to get better at SolidWorks, one thing that you can do and one way you can support the channel is you can visit us at TooTallToby.com/training. We do have a 0 to hero path for SolidWorks users, meaning that you could start out knowing nothing about SolidWorks, do our free 30-minute quick start. Then you could sign up for our SolidWorks 101, SolidWorks sketches, parts, assemblies, and drawings. And then you could sign up for our CSWP prep training class. And within about a month, within about 30 days, you could go from knowing nothing about SolidWorks to being a certified SolidWorks professional following those steps. So if you want to check it out, TooTallToby.com/training, or you can email Vicky at TooTallToby.com. We would love to see you in that training. All right, let's get into it today with our first challenge. I'm going to show you a 2D drawing, and I'm going to challenge you to turn that into a 3D model. Down in the title block, we're going to see the mass of this model. We're going to see the material density of this model. So make sure that you assign the appropriate material density, and then you should be able to calculate the mass and then enter that mass directly into the YouTube chat. And the first person who enters that mass correctly in the YouTube chat will earn a point on the Model Monday Live leaderboard over at TooTallToby.com. And of course, it's always a lot of fun to kind of flex and to model these parts up faster than all these other chat pros. Now, in the second half of the show, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to leverage the resource found at TooTallToby.com. A free account is all you need, but you will need a free account for the second half of the show. So once you get done with this first challenge, if you find yourself with a little extra time, be sure to go to TooTallToby.com and sign up for a free account, and that way you can get in on the action in the second half of the show. All right, the rules are pretty simple. You can use any 3D CAD system. Make sure you input the correct density, and that way you can output the correct mass. Make sure you use the specified precision, and the first correct answer in the chat will be declared the winner. The materials that we use are shown here. So I know there was, I think it was T3 Fusion. Said that it was their first time here. If you're out there and you're watching for the first time, T3D Fusion, first time seeing this. So if you are here for the first time, maybe hit the print capture or the screen capture on your computer. Grab a screen capture of these materials because the lower half of the screen shows the materials we use and the custom densities that we use. And if you're not using the correct density, you are not going to get the correct mass on these challenges. So make sure that you've got your density set up correctly, or at least make sure that you know how to input a custom density. That's something any 3D CAD engineer should know how to do, input a custom density for their model. And here are the units that we use on these challenges. And the advanced rules are this is meant to be fun and good-spirited. Occasionally, I will make mistakes. And, of course, the Ivan exploit is permitted. If you're not familiar with the Ivan exploit, you don't really have to worry about it too much, except to know that Aaron C. and I are working on an epic video to explain what the Ivan exploit is. And that video should possibly be out in the next 6 to 18 months. So with that, let's get into this first challenge. This first challenge is going to begin as soon as I show the 2D print. You're going to want to take a screen capture so you can move it onto your second screen and keep working as we continue through the live stream today. This first challenge begins in 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? So you can see here that in the title block, this part is using mmgs, which is millimeters. The material is 1060 aluminum alloy, and the density of that material is 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. You got to make sure you've got the correct material density. Now, for all the Fusion 360 users out there, I do have a video on my YouTube channel explaining how to set up these custom materials. And I even provide you with a downloadable Fusion library. So again, after the live stream today, you can go and check out that video. You can download the library, and that way you don't have to recreate it from the ground up. You can just use my library of Fusion materials. But for this challenge, especially if it's your first challenge, it might be easier for you to just input a custom material density. And that way you can keep moving ahead with the challenges. 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? Tolerance is plus or minus 1 gram. This is actually one of my favorite parts. We saw this part probably in one of the very first tournaments. It's been kind of out of circulation for a while, and I'm trying to bring it back in, trying to get all these parts ultimately into the library found at TooTallToby.com/practice. And this part will make its way in there in the very near future. But for today, this is a Model Monday Live exclusive. Of course, when we recycle or reuse these parts, it is not the same geometry. We change some dimensions. We change the material attributes. We make sure that you guys get something fresh every time. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? Model this part up. Enter the mass in the chat directly. Make sure you grab a screen capture because we are going to move on here in the presentation, and you're not going to see this on the screen for much longer. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? All right, I hope that was enough time for you to grab a screen capture and frantically begin modeling this part. We got 33 people watching right now, and hopefully that means we got 33 people scrambling to model this part. But don't forget, when you're done modeling this part, if you enjoy these types of battles, be sure to hit the like button on this video, on this live stream. I'm just taking a look at my monitoring setup over here, and it looks like we've got 32 people watching and 10 likes. So that's okay. That ratio is okay, but I would love for that ratio to get up to 1-to-1. So let's keep going with that hitting that like button. Don't forget to share and reshare. We always say that your job this week is to walk up to a coworker and whisper in their ear, tell them all about the TooTallToby YouTube channel, tell them about the Practice Models app. And I'm sure, Dom, your new coworkers will enjoy you walking around and whispering in their ear on your very first day. This can be your first impression. And we got Vicky Chong in the chat, moderator extraordinaire, saying hello to everyone. We see our first answer has come into the chat. We're not going to say if that answer is correct or incorrect until we get to the halfway point of this live stream. But it is coming in from our world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, current world champion, and possible repeat world champion. We'll see what happens as we approach the world championship here. And don't forget, if you want to join the party, you can sign up for Practice Models Premium over at TooTallToby.com. You can use the super chat and super thanks, or of course, you can take training with Toby. These are all great ways to support the channel. And the big news that's happening this week is that we are officially kicking off the Spring Open 2025. It's going to be an 8-person tournament with users from around the world. Qualifications have already ended on April 22nd, and the dates are going to be May 2nd, May 9th, May 16th, and May 23rd. Very excited about this tournament. We always love when we have these speed modeling tournaments. Of course, to enter and qualify, you needed to model all 3 of these components, all 3 of these parts, as quickly as you can, and make a video of yourself doing it so that we knew that your times were legit. So we know people aren't just, typing in random numbers. We want people to actually model it up so that we can see what's going on. And so our tournament qualification runs are all in. The dust is settling, and we are now reaching out to these 8 runners. Ricardo Salado in the number 1 seed here using SolidWorks. 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Metab coming in hot on his heels, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Gray coming in 2 minutes 51 seconds. Scott makes a thing in here, 2 minutes and 54 seconds using Rhino. I can't wait to see Rhino in competition. Dom in here using SolidWorks 257. Atse using SolidWorks in 3 minutes. Mr. Alex coming in here from Latvia, 3 minutes 21 seconds. And Abdullah coming in here from Bangladesh using SolidWorks 3 minutes 24 seconds. So although it's rather homogenous as far as the CAD systems go, I'm really excited to see that we have users from all over the world. Only one repeat country here, Bangladesh. Bangladesh coming in strong here in the top 8. So congratulations to Bangladesh for representing during this tournament. But really cool that we've got 7 different countries here represented. We've only got these 2 different CAD systems, SolidWorks and Rhino, but we are reaching out to the runners right now, and if any of the runners cannot make their matches, then what we're going to do is we're going to push on to our runner-ups. And you can see here at TooTallToby.com, if you go to TooTallToby.com and you go to the tournament's Spring Open page, you can see here that our next couple of people are actually using non-SolidWorks CAD systems. So we've got a Libre, we've got Inventor, and then we've got Fusion 360 here. So we might see some additional variety in the CAD systems here if we end up having to push out past our top 8, but we'll see what ends up happening. Of course, we want our top 8 to be able to compete, and hopefully they are all available for their tournament matches. Those qualification confirmation emails are going out right now. So some of you may have already seen it. Some of you may have already confirmed that you're going to be there for your match. And so we'll get all that information out there, and then we will show you guys what those first matchups are going to be this Friday, May 2nd. Now, as far as tournament prizes go, this is our Spring Open, and so we are continuing to try to gather prizes, but for now, we're at least going to see a cash prize up top, $100 USD for first place, $50 USD for second place, and usually we do that as either an Amazon gift card or a Google gift card, whatever, will work best for our runners. So We're going to see a cash prize up top here for our first place finisher, for our second place finisher. But of course, I know that most of the time for you guys, it's not really about the prize. It's about getting onto that tournament, historic tournament board, getting your name there on that board, being that #1 finisher, getting up there at the very top of that tournament. And of course, chopping through your friends and colleagues and showing that you are indeed the fastest 3D CAD speed modeler in the land. Shane Howe saying Rhino is in there. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with that Rhino user. It's gonna be really interesting. All right, guys, don't forget, if you ever are in need of any training or consulting or anything like that, you can always reach out to Vicky at TooTallToby.com. I don't know everything about 3D CAD, but I do know a lot about 3D CAD. And so if you're ever trying to, especially if you know anybody who's ever trying to, go from a napkin sketch idea to a 3D CAD model so that they can 3D print it, that's really where I enjoy working with customers the most, is making those they're usually simple assemblies, and it's usually kind of in the early prototyping phase where you're going from a napkin sketch to like your first prototype where you're 3D printing it. I love that kind of stuff. So if you know anybody who's ever in the market for something like that and you want to work with a CAD expert, reach out, Vicky at TooTallToby.com, and we will definitely help you out, take care of you, and we can make that happen. So let's talk now about our new partnership, the Practice Models app and Model Monday Live. And so what we're doing now, we started doing this a couple weeks ago, is we are going to be using the Practice Models app to compete in the second half of the show today. So if you have finished that challenge from the first half of the show, be sure to go to TooTallToby.com, get logged in, make sure that you are signed up for a free account at TooTallToby.com so that you can participate in the second half of our show. Now, the Practice Models app is available at TooTallToby.com/practice, and it's a collection of 2D challenges to go into a 3D model, very similar to what we're doing here in Model Monday Live. So if you like what we're doing here in Model Monday Live, you will love the Practice Models app at TooTallToby.com. And there are several models on there, challenges on there that are free for everyone. But then if you really enjoy the app and if you want to support what we're doing here at TooTallToby.com, you can sign up for our Practice Models premium subscription, and you can get access to the entire library. I think there's 170 models in there. And every time you finish a model, you're going to get a point, and you're going to show up here on the community scoreboard. So every time you finish a model and you get it correct, you're going to get a point here. You can see here that there are, 170 models here. Well, we got a plasticity user, Nova John. What's up? Plasticity user here at the top of the leaderboard, 170 models. So very nice, very nice. And you can see here that you're gonna not only have access to all of these challenges, but we also have access to a filtering system for the level of complexity. And so what that means is that you can go in here to show filters. So we can do a show filters here. And once you do a show filters, you can see here that you can set your filters to the level of complexity that you're used to. Whoops, sorry, I bumped the camera there. You can set your filter here to the level of complexity that you're used to, or that you're looking to challenge yourself to. So for example, if you're just getting started in 3D CAD, maybe you want to filter by tier 1. You can see here that we can just examine the tier 1 challenges. But once you're, as you move on, finish all the tier 1s, now maybe you're ready to start doing some of the tier 2 challenges. Maybe you finish all the tier 2 challenges, you're ready to move on to tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. These different levels of complexity are going to be appropriate when you're first getting started with CAD, or as you get deeper and deeper into CAD and you want a little bit more of a challenge. And then, of course, at the very top of our library of 2D to 3D CAD challenges, we've started rolling out this featured challenge practice model. So last week we saw 250406. Today we're going to see a new one show up here, and this is where we're actually going to be competing today during our live stream, and I'm going to do a live solve of this challenge. But the cool thing about the featured challenge is that you get all of the features and all of the benefits that would normally be reserved for a Practice Models premium subscription in this kind of top challenge. So people can use the try again function, you can make a recording of yourself, you can post that recording, a speed modeling recording. And this model here, you know, this was not an easy model. This was a fun one that we did last week. Not really that easy. And we saw that the Make Katia Great Again user, MCGA, did this in 36 seconds. And not only did it in 36 seconds, but actually submitted a video. So if you want to, you can watch the speed running video of that user completing that challenge. And you can do that yourself as well for any of these featured challenges. We've been doing them a different one each week for the past couple of weeks. I don't know if we're going to continue that cadence. We'll see what happens in the future. But each week we get a new featured challenge, and it's a lot of fun to see these speed runs and see the different users kind of volleying to complete that featured challenge. So sign up for the app, TooTallToby.com. We're always making updates to that app, adding in new features. Every month we're going through, we're adding in new features to that app, sometimes multiple new features in the same month. And the latest feature that we've added is this new Practice Models Premium featured model showing up at the top, so that we can not only use that featured model while we are, working throughout the week. We can look at that new featured model and kind of test out the new premium functionality. But it really helps us here in Model Monday Live, where we are able to use that Practice Models Premium featured model to determine who is finishing the model the fastest. So with that, let's get into it here. The new featured challenge. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. This is your last chance to go to TooTallToby.com and sign up for a free account so that you can participate and join in on the fun of the new featured challenge. And in the meantime, again, just check out Practice Models Premium. It's a lot of fun. I got to give a huge shout out to Bodie McBoatpants, our in-house web developer, who's really made this vision come to life of Practice Models Premium. And of course, working with him in the past few months is none other than Hubi3DFX. You might have talked to Hubi on the Discord. He's been really helping us bring the leaderboards and some of the other new functionality to life. So huge shout out to Bodie McBoatpants. Huge shout out to Hubi3DFX. Thank you guys so much for all the hard work that you're putting in on this app. And that's about it for our news. Don't forget, check out the Discord. If you ever have any questions or anything about what we're doing at TooTallToby.com, the Discord is a great way to get those questions answered. All right, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share and reshare. Sign up for a subscription, either here on YouTube or over at Practice Models Premium. Use Super Chat, use Super Thanks, and take training with Toby. And the best training that you can get if you're a SolidWorks user is the Zero to Hero training, available at TooTallToby.com/training. All right, so this first model was kind of a fun one. Like I said, this is an older one. We've seen this one in the tournaments over the past couple of years, but a kind of a new spin on this, a little bit of new dimensioning, new material for this one, and just kind of a fun model. I like especially this region up top here. I think this is kind of a tricky region because it's like, what do? Do you create a plane up there, offset a plane up to that location, and then extrude that shape, or do you extrude that shape square and then add the tombstone to it? What would you guys do in the chat? Let's find out here. Let's start a poll here. I'm just curious. Extruded square, extrude as rounded tombstone. Wait. I'll just put, how would you do it? How would you do that area? So would you extrude sharp and add a fillet, or extrude as a tombstone shape, rounded? Let us know in the chat. How would you do it? Drop it in a poll here in the chat for all of you to let me know. I know how I would probably do it. I would probably make the plane and extrude the tombstone shape. So that's how I'm going to answer. I'm curious, what is the split on this thing? So, as always, whenever you're modeling something, you have to decide what is my starting plane going to be? What's my very first sketch going to look like? For me, for a model like this, I would probably start with this shape on the front plane. Probably I would include this as well on the front plane. And in SolidWorks, I would put the origin here, and then I would extrude that shape. Now in Onshape, what I would probably do then is I would also just sketch the rest of this stuff, because Onshape makes it so easy to reuse those earlier profiles. So I would probably create all this geometry, and I would probably create this shape like this as well. And I guess I probably would actually extrude it and then add the fillet afterwards. So I guess it depends on which CAD system I'm using. If I was using SolidWorks, I would probably offset the plane up here and then sketch the tombstone shape from the top down. But if I was using Onshape, I would probably just sketch it all there on the front plane and then just use and reuse that original sketch. You know, you just kind of learn different workflows when you're working in the different CAD systems. So that is a pretty fun model. Let's take a look here at our poll. Let's see what you guys said in the poll here. Let's end the poll. All right, so looks like extrude sharp and add the fillet wins the poll there, 64%, and extrude it as a tombstone shape, only 35%. So there we go. Extrude it sharp, add the fillet is the way to go on that one. I like it. I like it. I like it. And we got Steph Ode Rayolink in the chat, also known as Raged Dragon. Says, I use 3 bosses extrudes, 2 cut extrudes. Let's go. I like that efficiency. Very nice. All right. Did you answer? And he got an answer there in the chat as well. Well, let's find out who answered correctly and who answered first. And was it the same person that answered correctly and answered first? Of course, you can answer more than once, but we are only going to accept your final answer. So we have had it happen where somebody's answered correctly and then changed their answer and it was wrong. Rambros Workshop 236, Metab 236, Otse 89 grams, Ricardo Jean 236, Shane Howell 242, Victor K 236, Mr. Alex 236, Arthur Fedderson 236. Let's see here, Raged Dragon 235.2 and Jim Yu 236. Guys, the correct answer is 236 grams plus or minus 1 gram. So congratulations to everybody who got it correct or got it correct within tolerance. Not an easy part, but a fun part to model. And it looks like our winner is going to be none other than Rambros Workshop. So GG to Rambros Workshop, our world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling, continuing to dominate. This is what we like to see. Good job, Rambros. And congratulations, 236 is correct. You nailed it. You got it right on. Well done. Well done. GG to Rambros Workshop. GG, my friend. Well done. Well done. Raged Dragon says 235 counts. I'll take it as a win. Very nice. Very nice. Of course, a lot of these parts you should be dead on. 236 was pretty much dead on the answer. It's a very, you would call it analytic geometry. When we get into like lofty, swoopy shapes, that's when sometimes we have to make some allowances for the way the different CAD systems solve. When you do fillets that intersect in the same corner, sometimes we have to make some allowances for how the different CAD systems solve. But in this case, it should pretty much be dead on 236. So you might want to go back and look and see if maybe there was something off, or maybe it was just your material density. Maybe you have incorrect material density in your library. Regardless, that is going to allow us to move on to our next challenge. And so this next challenge begins in, well, actually, what we're going to do with this challenge is we're going to feature this challenge on our TooTallToby practice models webpage. So we're going to see that this challenge is going to begin very soon here. We're going to count it down. Go to TooTallToby.com, sign up for a free practice models account or a free TooTallToby account. And that is where we are going to be hosting this next challenge, challenge number 2 here. It's going to be something that everyone is going to have access to right on the main page. So if we go to TooTallToby.com, when you get to the main page, you say, get started with free practice models, or if you're already on this page, you can say refresh. And what you should see here is that we now have a new challenge, 250408. So you can click here to practice, and the challenge is officially live. 3, 2, 1, go. So I see in the chat, Victor K says, uh-oh, that silhouette looks familiar. Yeah, this is one that we've seen before in the tournaments. We haven't really seen it in a practice model. We've maybe seen it during the live stream, but not officially in the practice models library. And so I wanted to get it in there. And so here we go. Click here to begin. And what we're going to do is we're going to live solve this for all of you. So all of you can begin modeling now, and you can see here that no one has done this model yet. You could be the first to complete this model, and we're going to see in just a moment what the what the answers are as the answers begin rolling in. But between now and then, and for today's live stream, just to kind of keep things rolling along, I'm just going to model this with you. So here we are, we're at TooTallToby.com. We're gonna say get started, and we're gonna take a look at the challenge 25-04-08. Now, if we go all the way down to the bottom here, we see that that model is reserved for members who have the Practice Models Premium subscription. But here at the top, we see that it is available in our featured challenge practice models. So let's get in here, 25-04-08, and let's try to model this up using Onshape. So I'm going to say click here to begin and reveal drawing and go. So what is the mass of this part in XXXX grams? And for a model like this, what I'm going to try to do first is I'm going to try to ask myself, where should the origin be? Now, I know the clock is running. I know that I'm kind of burning off time here, but I think that if you come up with a good game plan, you can save that time on the tail end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to model this part up, and I'm going to start out by asking myself kind of how I would build this part. And I think that the way that I would build this part, you know, feature by feature, I think that I would probably start out with this kind of base section here. Kind of start out with this base section here and then build off of that. Maybe I'll build this fin that comes up and has this circular boss here, and then I'll mirror that across. Maybe I'll create a circular boss here, bring it up, and then I can do my counterbore geometry. So I think that's going to be kind of the general order that I'm going to use, but this is something you always want to think to yourself. You know, if you're looking at a physical part, if you've got something physical in your hand and you're going to model it up, look at it and ask yourself kind of the order in which features should be built and the different types of features that you might be using to construct that model. So it looks like for this model, it's mainly just going to be extrudes, boss extrudes, cut extrudes. That should give me most of what I need for this model. So now I'm going to get a little bit more nuance with my game plan, and I'm going to ask myself, well, where should the origin be? If this is going to be my first sketch, if my first sketch is going to look something like this, where should the origin be? And I think I'll put the origin right here. It's, you know, everything is centered, it's center line symmetric, and I've got this 90 dimension and this 155 dimension here. So I think it makes sense to maybe just have the origin right here. It's a nice little baseline for some of my dimensions in the model. So then the next question is, how much detail should I include in that first sketch? And I think that because I'm working in Onshape, I'll probably opt to include quite a bit of detail here and then just extrude from these sketches. Now, certainly if you're using a different CAD package, you could still use a similar workflow where you include all the information in your first sketch. It's just a matter of what you're comfortable with, and are you comfortable extruding multiple contours from the same sketch? And in Onshape, I am very comfortable doing that. Now, one thing that makes this model a little bit tricky is that we've got this dimension here, 65, or this dimension here, 155, which is coming from essentially this edge, this sharp edge right here. This kind of sharp edge, blade edge that's being created by this 45-degree cut. So once we create the dimension to here, which is this 155 dimension, we're going to need to kind of cut this thing off along the back side to leave us with that coplanar geometry along the back side of this part. And that's kind of the one thing that makes this model a little bit tricky. So I think that after I create that basic shape, that basic extrusion, I'm going to pretty soon after get in there and cut away that corner. And then I think I'll create this as my next sketch. Create this geometry up here, create that geometry as my next sketch, and that should pretty much take care of any of the tricky areas of the model. Now, I know that at this point I've already run off 3 minutes of the clock, and that may seem like a lot of time, and maybe it could even seem like a waste of time to you. But like I said earlier, I think it's really important to take a few minutes and kind of come up with a game plan before you actually jump into modeling the geometry. But now we are at that point. Now we are ready to model that geometry. If you agree that it's a good idea to come up with a game plan first, hit the like button on this video. I think it's always good to come up with a game plan. But let me move this over to my second screen. Let me bring up my keyboard cam so you can see all my cool shortcuts in Onshape. And let's get going here. Create a document, 25-04-08, gate hinge 3. I am going to create this in the public space, so if you are an Onshape user, you can always log in and search for this document name, and you can take a look at my entire feature tree and history in the Onshape history section. So you can always look through and take a look at my model. And so now, following my game plan, well, the first thing I'm going to do is go to this hamburger menu, and then I'm going to say workspace units and make sure that I'm working in millimeters, make sure that I'm working in grams, which I am. So now I'm going to go top plane, begin a sketch, orient my view, and I'm going to do that using the N key to orient my view. So that workflow is pick the front plane, press the S key, begin a sketch, or sorry, pick the top plane, press the S key, begin a sketch, press the N key to get normal 2, press the S key and jump into a circle command. And I'm going to create a circle here with a diameter of 22. That's my through hole. Create another circle here with a diameter of 44. That's my counter bore hole. And create another circle here with a diameter of 35 times 2. That's that kind of arc that's out at the front of the model. So there is what the beginning of your first sketch should look like if you're kind of following through as a tutorial. And then I'm going to create a line here, and this line is going to move over in this direction, and this line is going to have a distance of 90, enter, and then it's going to move over in this direction, and it's going to have a distance of 65, enter. Then I'll come out this way, and this line here is going to come over about 130 over 2, so about 65. Come over in this direction, single click. Now here's a little trick you can do in Onshape. You can move away from that end point, come back to that end point, and then move away again, and that creates an arc for you automatically. And when you left click on the end point of that arc, you can let go of your mouse and you can type in the dimension 170. And then finally, I'm just going to take this line and connect it here on this point. I don't think I'm going to be able to get tangent to the circle and tangent to the line or the original arc. That's what I really want. I really want to be tangent to this and coincident to the circle, all three. That would be like the trifecta. I don't think I'm going to get all three, so I'm going to hit escape here and just pick this and this. Make sure that they are tangent by pressing T. Then I'll pick this and this. Make sure that they are tangent. Maybe I did get all three. Wow, I'm like a pro. Onshape certified pro. I'm going to click on this line here and I'm going to press Q. I'm going to click on this line here and press Q as well, just to make them for construction. And then I'm going to take this line, arc, line, and this construction line. And then I'm going to click the mirror command to mirror that over to the other side. So now I'm ready to get in here and create a line. Single click. I could kind of put my mouse over this point so that I get exactly vertical to that point. Single click, move back, move over that end point, and then move around again. Takes me into that little arc command, and then I can close off that geometry. And that's how you can create that tombstone shape all in one pass, and that's a very good workflow to practice. Now this point and this point, I'm going to press I. That way those 2 points become coincident. And then I'm going to press the S key here and just add a dimension from here to here. Now, we also could have done that with a slot. Slot would have been totally reasonable there as well. But I'm just going to do it here with more traditional sketch geometry. Continuing with my dimension command, since I'm already in there, I'll make this 130. And then I'll add in an angle here of 45 degrees. And looks like maybe I'm still missing a tangency here somewhere. Let's see, I'm going to grab this point and just move it. Yep, I sure am. So let's make sure that we've got this, or actually let's do it down below here. This and this, press T for tangent, and there we go. And that is what your first sketch should look like if you're following along as a tutorial. I'll kind of drop these dimensions out here so you can see them a little bit more clearly. But that's probably what you want your first sketch to look like in Onshape so that you can then jump in and start extruding this geometry. So let's jump right into that next step. So we're going to go here. We're going to go S key, extrude. Press the space bar to clear everything. And that way we can just go through and we can pick those different regions. So we're going to pick this region here to extrude. We're going to pick, that's probably all we need, right? Take that region and we're going to extrude that out to a height of 20. And we can press enter, enter again. And then we could pick maybe this region and S key extrude. And we can bring that up to a height of 28. And then we can pick this region down here, the kind of counter bore region. And we can press the S key and choose extrude. Now this is going to be a remove because we're going to be removing material. And instead of that remove beginning from down here where the sketch plane is, we'll say starting offset. And in Onshape, when you do a starting offset, you could say you want that to offset to a face. So you say you want this to be a remove, so we're removing material, start that offset from a face, and then all you need to do is put in the depth of your counter bore. Now, we could have also done that counter bore with the hole tool. I use the hole tool a lot in my tutorials, though, so I just kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit for this tutorial. So if you like the variety of these tutorials, hit the like button on this video. All right, and now we're going to hide this sketch here. And I think these extra sketches were just from some of the selecting I was doing in the beginning just as I was getting started and showing some shortcuts. So I'll just get rid of those. So there we go. We've got this one sketch, kind of our main sketch here. And then we've got this extrude, extrude, extrude for that main plate, this circular part that's sticking up, and then the counter bore. So now, again, sticking with the game plan, pick this face, S key, begin a sketch, N key, and then I can sketch a triangle here and then use that triangle to remove that geometry at 45 degrees. So S key dimension, add in a dimension here at 45 degrees, and then S key extrude, and this is going to be a remove through all. So remove through all, we hit the check mark, and there we go. That gives us that nice knife edge that's running along the backside of that model. And so now we can begin getting into what is going to be kind of the end game of this model, this blade section over here. So we can create a collinear line, a line here at an angle, create this shape, create this circle, and then we should be able just to continue to do those extrudes like we did earlier. So what we can do here is we can go to this face here, S key, begin a sketch, N key to get normal to, S key to begin a line. Could maybe start our line here at this point, or maybe even over here. Come over here to this point, just create like a quick line running along the bottom. And then in Onshape, if you hold your mouse over this line first, and then you move up in this direction, you'll see that you can get a parallel relationship. So we'll make that parallel, come back, touch the end point, come up and around, and we're gonna say this is gonna go around to a radius of 26. And then we're gonna continue our line here, make sure that we're getting tangent, continue our line down to here. Maybe I'll just drop it in space, and then I'll grab this endpoint and just connect it here. And that way those two become tangent. Now, really, this should probably be a circle. So I can just jump into the circle command and just make a circle here like this. Boom, we've got our circle. And then I can drop in another circle here with that diameter of 30. So just making a second circle overlapping with the first circle, that's fine. In Onshape, that's okay. It's not gonna hiccup or anything when we go to extrude. It's just gonna let us use the closed region. So now the final thing I need to do here is just add some dimensions. So there's gonna be a dimension from here to here with an angle of, I believe, 35. Yep, 35 for that one. And then there's going to be a height dimension here from this point down to the bottom of the part. And that height dimension is going to be 66. And there we go. Nice, fully defined sketch. So that is what your third sketch should look like. The second sketch was that little triangle shape to lop off that 45 degrees. And then that is what your third sketch should look like. And so now what we can do is we can choose to extrude that geometry. So S key extrude. And we're going to say that we want to extrude, let me hit the space bar here, just this section to a depth of 15 millimeters, and we will reverse the direction on that. There we go. That'll be an add. And then we can show that sketch again, and we can pick this region here, and we can do S key extrude. And now, just like we did earlier, we could say we want that to start with an offset. So I think this starting offset is going to be, let's see here, it's 130 to the, let's just do some quick math here. So it's 130 to the original walls, and then it's 150 here to the outer walls. So that's going to be 10 per side. So we're going to have 10 here, 10 per side, and then it's only 90 to the inside. So that's going to be, let's see here. So 130 minus 15, so that's 100 minus that. So that's 5. So 5 per side on this side here. So just a little bit of quick math there to get that to the correct geometric state. Now, of course, if those, openings were part of the customer's design intent, then maybe we would solve this a little differently. But in this case, we could just say that starting offset is going to be 10 millimeters, reverse the direction. So there we go. There's our 10 millimeter offset. And then the depth of this thing is going to be 30. Right? Whoops. Let's see here. Starting offset. Depth is going to go in that way. There we go. I flipped the wrong one. The depth is going to be 30. Now, the cool thing is that once we mirror this, we can really quickly double check and make sure that we got that math correct. But before we mirror it, let's do one more extrusion, and that's going to be a cut extrude here. And another really cool thing about Onshape is I can just pick this face. I don't have to make a sketch. I don't have to pick the face, begin a sketch, and then do convert entities. I can just pick this face and then do extrude, remove, and through all. And so you see Onshape grabs the boundary of that face without forcing me to create a new sketch. It just grabs the face geometry and extrudes that. So that way I can get that whole side face to be nice and smooth and kind of continue that curvature like what we see in the drawing. So now let's go to a mirror command. And in Onshape, you want to remember that up top here, you want to set this to a feature mirror. And we will feature mirror these 1, 2, 3 features. And then our mirror plane is going to be the front plane. So you pick the front plane here, and there we go. And anytime you're doing a pattern or a mirror in Onshape, if it goes red like that, just remember you can hit reapply features, and that'll almost always take care of it. Not every single time, but a lot of times that'll take care of it. So we hit the green check mark, and there we go. We do what's called the final spin. We say, yeah, this looks pretty close to what's on the drawing. So now we're going to press the letter P. That hides our planes. We're going to right mouse button on the part, and we're going to say assign material. And then down here, and then the material is shown in the title block. So that material is plain carbon steel from the TooTallToby custom materials library. I've got a video on how to set up your Onshape custom materials library as well. And then we can take a look down here in the corner, and we can see that the mass properties button, click on that mass properties button, click here on the part, 3984.1 grams. So let's go back into the TooTallToby practice models app, and it's going to be, wait, what was it again? 3984.1 grams. So 3984.1 and enter. And oh yeah, we did it. Congratulations. This answer is correct. And you can see here that we did this using Onshape, got the correct answer, and I'm going to say submit. And when you click submit, you're going to be awarded 1 point on the community scoreboard. So I'm going to say submit. And we did it. Well done. Your answer was within the specified tolerance. I like it. So now if we go back to more challenges, we can take a look here at the featured model, the practice models featured challenge practice model. And we can see here that 6 people have completed this model. So 6 of you watching, and maybe somebody who's not watching, but 6 of you watching have completed this model. And let's take a look here at our top 100. And it looks like our very first finisher was none other than Ricardo Salado. So he continues to dominate, and looks like he finished it in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Wow, that is impressive. And CSWE Victor did it in 6 minutes and 2 seconds using Onshape. Metab did it here in 6:47. Rambro's Workshop did it here in 7 minutes, 20 seconds. And Undefined Explode did it in 13 minutes, 47 seconds. Wow, 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 wow. Congratulations to all of our finishers here in the top 100 leaderboard here. This is really cool. Let's just refresh, see if anybody else is going to get in here. But wow, that is awesome. That's fast too. 5 minutes, 40 seconds. That's screaming. So good job. Great job. A lot of times, CSWE Victor, you can see he's using Onshape here. A lot of times what he does is he goes into the TooTallToby Discord and then drops a link to his models, so that if anybody wants to explore the feature tree, everyone wants to explore the feature history in Onshape, they can do that looking at an expert's workflow. So it's really cool that that Victor does that. It's really cool that Onshape lets anybody look at the results. So if you're ever in the TooTallToby Discord, be sure to look out for that after an episode of Model Monday Live. But wow, congratulations to Ricardo Jean getting himself ready for the tournament this week. Fun model. The gate hinge 3, the third time we've seen that gate hinge in circulation, but a slightly different variation on it. And I hope that you enjoyed that Onshape live solve. If you did, be sure to hit the like button on the video. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to share and reshare. Don't forget to join the party. And the correct answer here is 3984 grams. GG to Ricardo. Well done. Well done, my friend. That is awesome. Very fast. Guys, of course, if you're into speed modeling and posting videos of yourself speed modeling, you can do that here as well. When you do this challenge, if you do it and then you want to use try again and try again and try again and really get your workflow down, you'll see here in data and analytics, all of your historic runs are captured. So let's say you get one down and it's under 5 minutes. Well, you can record yourself doing it, and then you can throw up your speed run video, and then everyone would be able to watch your speed run, and you would get featured on the main page here of the library. So it's pretty cool. If you ever want to get into speed modeling and you want to actually record yourself, you can kind of share your results with the rest of the community here. All right, congratulations to our winners. We had 2 winners today. We had Rambro's Workshop coming in with the correct answer on that first challenge. And we had Ricardo Salado coming in with the correct answer on our second challenge. Wow, wow, wow. And of course, thank you to you, the most amazing chat ever. Guys, it's always so fun to get into these episodes of Model Monday Live with all of you. It's a great way to start the week for sure. But this week, we got a special week. We're not only going to start the week strong, we're also going to end the week strong, because this Friday, we have got our tournament kickoff, 1 p.m. East Coast, same time as this live stream that you're watching today. So be sure to like this live stream, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and of course, be sure to come back for the tournament this Friday. We'll find out who's competing as the week goes on. And we'll be back on Model Money Live next week as well to kind of review the results from the tournament and to talk about what else is going on and give you some more challenges. So thank you all so much for joining me today on this episode of Model Monday Live. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Such a fun way to kick off the week. And I will look forward to seeing all of you in the next TooTallToby live stream. See you, everybody.